from one person to another. If you sneeze or cough, do so into a tissue or the inside of your elbow to prevent the spread of germs. Avoid contact with ill individuals and insist they isolate themselves until they have recovered and are symptom-free. Clean and sanitize frequently touched common surfaces and high-traffic areas in your home and workplace several times a day. Share these guidelines with others and help prevent the spread of illness and maintain a healthy environment. An ounce of prevention is worth a ton of cure.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
The male suspect, whose name has been withheld because he has not appeared in court, was apprehended by the Namibian police after they received a tip-off that a printing shop owner was selling forged COVID-19 vaccination cards along Green Mountain Road. The suspect was caught red-handed while printing and issuing COVID-19 vaccination cards. The suspect is charged with 3 counts: contravening the COVID-19 public health regulations, corruption, and forgery and uttering.
There is a trend that is going on for people selling COVID vaccination cards. Again, I know because of a result of this NDF recruitment, because one of the requirements is that one should be in possession of a COVID vaccination card. And it's ongoing. As we speak, we also arrested a 36-year-old Namibian male yesterday, that is in Koreahab. He was caught selling, printing vaccination cards and then writing them at his printing shop. He is selling them for 500 Namibian dollar. One each is costing 500 Namibian dollar. Just imagine. So people are taking these opportunities, and then we have to warn the public to say that whoever is going to be found engaged in those type of particular activities, seriously, it's illegal. We are not going to allow it. As we speak, he might also appear today in court, or maybe tomorrow, if not. Actually, under the charge that have to do with public health protocols, of which he violated in terms of as far as COVID-19 is concerned, and also corruption in that regard. So we are going to make sure that we apply all the necessary charges to that particular activity as much as possible. And obviously, we just have to make sure that these particular people who are engaged in this type of illegalities, they are dealt with, because it's totally uncalled for.
Equally, the Ministry of Health and Social Services Executive Director Ben Nangobe issued a statement that they were informed of unvaccinated people trying to fraudulently acquire or falsify COVID-19 vaccination cards. Thus, the ED informs all health managers to store unused vaccination cards in a safe place. Nangobe also advised for managers to ensure proper record and stock control measures are in place and verify available stock against the number of persons vaccinated on a daily basis. Shipandeni further raised concern over scammers who claim to have connections and ways to recruit people in NDF. Shipandeni urged members of the public to be cautious and avoid such scams.
There is a scam going on of people scamming individuals out there because of this ongoing NDF recruitment. There are people who are sending people text pretending to be certain individuals within the organization of an Namibian Defense Force, and then they are sending to a certain colonel in that particular department to say, my child's detail is this one, please, I will send the amount of how much later. They are sending to different people. Now, for you to see that, obviously, if you have a child, you might feel like you are tempted. You also want to do it. The idea is that they want to attempt people, for them to make sure that they find a way around you so that they can also get money out of you. So please, let's not fall victim for these particular scams because it's ongoing. And it's a report that came to our office, people complaining of that. And we appreciate the public when they are giving us this type of information.
Shipandeni further urged public members to be on the lookout for such scammers and alert the police.
Five-year-old Ilago Nantana, who began walking from the mouth of the Orange River in Oranjemund on the 1st of June en route to Katima Mulilo, said he embarked on this journey to touch the lives of 101 men with the word of God. When Nantana arrives in Zambezi, he is expected to have walked 2,200 kilometers.
Community Voices proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation. Good today, better tomorrow.
Arrived in Windhoek, his hometown, on Friday evening, where he rested for 4 days after trekking for 45 days from Oranjemund. Nantana started his journey on 1st of June and plans to complete his walk on 30 August. On his journey, Nantana carried a 15 kg backpack and he endured cold temperatures because after he started his journey, it started snowing in the southern part of the country. The young man, who developed blisters on both feet, reduced his daily walking distance of 30 kilometers to 20 kilometers a day. Nantana says he started his journey with $0 but put his trust in the Lord to provide for him during this work. Nantana, who is an entrepreneur, described himself as a solution provider. He is also a chairperson of a delivery room in Ochomise that provides mental and spiritual well-being of men. Nantana also stated that before beginning his journey, he walked from his office in Ochomise to Hosea Kutako International Airport, and when he arrived at the roadblock en route to the airport and was not tired, that's how he decided to walk 30 kilometers per day as part of his journey.
I saw jackals and hyenas that came to my tent while I'm sleeping in the night. Yeah, and then I came to Keetmans to house, and then from house to Keetmans it was cold. It was the time of when the weather was so cold. I think in the third week of June. It was so cold. It was raining even. I was rained on. It was cold. I couldn't do much, but I needed to continue. No matter the turbulences, the testing, the challenges that were there, I need to go through, because it's just to show that life is not smooth. There will be challenges every day, but through those challenges you must endure. So this is a whole walk just to inspire men that, guys, look at what I went through, but it got me to Windhoek. If I can make it to Windhoek, what else can stop me to reach Katima Mulilo? So then I started on the 1st of June walking. I just started walking from Oranjemund. I just took a bus from Windhoek. I went to Oranjemund, and then I reported myself at the police station, Ministry of Environment, NAMDEB, and all these agencies that are there, that I'm embarking on a journey like this to inspire men, that every step I take, 111 men are being saved. In my mind, I'm conscious already that even if I don't eat or drink anything today, I can still make it tomorrow. Because in between towns, if it's 4 days, I'll be able to make it in town, and I know that God will always provide. So all the way, I didn't even fast. Sometimes I'll say, okay, I didn't get any water or food from the morning up until 5 o'clock. By the time I'm setting up my tent, here comes God through with somebody just coming to the place where I'm putting up my tent, and then like, no, I saw you walking the whole day. I was going. And then in me, I just felt like I needed to buy you any food or water. But I always tell people that solutions are out there, and the solutions are in the Bible. The Bible in itself is not just a book. It is the book that has stories. It is a book that has testimonies. It is a book that the current world that we are living in is also still in the same book. So you'll be able to find solution, heal yourself just with words. The whole world that we have is made out of words. Words is what we use to communicate. Words is what we use to build things. You see, you just called, "Hi, can I have an interview with you?" It's a word that you have given.
He stated that the journey made him realize that Namibians are caring and loving people.
Throughout it, I just realized that Namibians love one another. I think Namibia has a spirit of togetherness. They are caring people. So people saw me, and a lot of people stopped just to ask if everything is fine, if I need a lift. And when I tell them that, no, I'm doing it in the name of Jesus Christ, I realized that Jesus Christ is a language, and everybody gets touched just by that name. The profound part was just the togetherness of the whole nation supporting.
Nantana left Windhoek this morning to continue with his journey.
Community Voices proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation. Good today, better tomorrow.
Free shopping is back at Spar, where we're putting smiles on the faces of thousands of Spar Rewards customers when they win their shopping for free. Just shop any participating product, swipe your Spar Rewards card, and go big with Nola Mayonnaise for just $26.99 and Huggies Dry Comfort Nappies Value Pack for only $144.99. Win your shopping instantly, only at Spar.
Honestly, I've never been so anxious to flip a card.
In your whole life?
My whole entire life. I think it's because I'm probably used to, I must know.
You're used to having the information in
advance. you know? I'm like, I know what I'm going to ask her more. Now I'm on the other side and I'm just like, can we just... And I can't flip the card up until it's my turn, right? Yeah. Let's have a conversation.
I think for me, art is important.
Ooh.
Art is everything. But I think first of all, it's important.
I think again, it's about being a nice person, isn't it? Just because somebody's being nasty to you on the road, or you don't necessarily have to be the same as them.
Yeah. Always we're told you needed to have X, Y, and Z. Like at school already, they're telling you what do you want to be. You're like, I don't even know what I'm now. I'm going to know what I'm then. I like football. Relax. Let me just get through today.
This is a nice question.
Okay.
Let us
is
hear
it about...
No, I wish it was. I wish it was about but it's not.
Since 2018, Paratus Namibia and City of Windhoek have engaged in legal disputes on the procedures to be followed by the telecommunications company when installing infrastructure, mainly fiber optic cables throughout the city. Barney Harmse, the Chief Executive Officer of Paratus, alleged that both cases have cost the city millions of Namibia dollars, which ratepayers and taxpayers would now be responsible for paying after the judge determined that Paratus won both cases with legal costs.
The High Court's order from 26 March 2020 indicated that Paratus had the legal right to dig and install fiber optic cable infrastructure after giving notice to the local authority, which was upheld by the Supreme Court on July 13, 2022, in favor of Paratus. Barney Harmse, the CEO of Paratus, gave a detailed account of the circumstances that led to the legal disputes between the City of Windhoek and the telecommunication company listed on the Namibian Stock Exchange.
The 31st of May 2018, I was actually in Lusaka in Zambia, trying to expand our African network. On that day, I think it was 4 city police officers arrived at this office with sirens, and they delivered a letter to Paratus. It was a letter that was delivered to the office, addressed to me, and the subject was the installation of our access fiber network infrastructure throughout the City of Windhoek. To make a long story short, the City of Windhoek, with the harassment of the city police, tried to stop us. And as per their argument, since your project conflicts with the council's intended project. And in the last part of that paragraph, it directly jeopardizes council's strategic intentions stated in our transformation strategic plan. Now, in the meantime, we've had 2 court cases regarding the start of this mess, and we've won both cases. It's costed the taxpayer and the ratepayers millions of dollars, because the courts did conclude that, we won both cases with costs. So our legal friends are busy calculating the legal fees, and I'm sure you will appreciate and know, perhaps be a little bit disappointed, but you're going to pay my legal fees and this company's legal fees, and I'm going to pay this company's legal fees because I'm a taxpayer and I'm a ratepayer.
Allegations of corruption at the city of Windhoek were exposed by an Al Jazeera investigation in July 2020. The expose claims that the head of the city of Windhoek's ICT division, the late Redcliffe Kanjiro-Mwini, tried to bribe a councillor from an opposition party with 5 million Namibian dollars in exchange for her support of the council's approval to offer Chinese tech giant Huawei exclusive rights to construct the city's 5G infrastructure. Haramsa says that it would be unfortunate if the city of Windhoek tries to blame the late Kanjiro-Mwini for the legal disputes between the city and Paratus.
One of the ECs back in the day, Mr. Redcliffe Kanjiro-Mwini, unfortunately, he passed away, I think just into COVID, but I don't know, nobody knows if it was COVID or whatever the case may be, but it wasn't a well-publicized event, the untimely passing away of Redcliffe at that time. But I'm also sure that you will remember of Mr. Kanjiro-Mwini's comments back in the day that he will close down this company. If that's what it takes, he will close down this company. And I accepted that challenge. It would be a pity if, in a way going forward, if any of the SEs in City Council or any of the councillors or City of Windhoek as a whole wants to blame this on someone that's passed away.
The Communications Regulatory Authority of Namibia granted the city of Windhoek a telecommunications license in 2020, giving it the same privileges as MTC, Paratus and Telecom. The Anti-Corruption Commission spokesperson says that a case was opened by the ACC for investigation in connection with the allegations of the Huawei 5G bribe at the city of Windhoek. The city is yet to respond to questions sent by Today on One regarding the allegations by Paratus, Namibia.
The word merits you, when the word rules you, you'll have access to the power, access to the anointing that can establish prosperity in your life. Everyone prays, but not everyone experience the power of God. Keep this word. Meditate on this word day and night. In everything, you carry the word with you, because the word finds space in your heart.
Namibia has lost 20% of its trees to deforestation due to excessive fires and negative climate change since independence. The land and family representative of the International Family Forestry Alliance stated at the Sustainable Forest Management National Conference today in Windhoek that the government should fund the reforestation in the country and educate farmers on the regulations of tree cutting, land clearing and migration into natural forest areas.
to Lorenzo von Weisenberg, rural-urban migration is one of the greatest challenges faced by forest sustainability, as more people tend to survive off the land and exploit natural resources for farming, building and trading. Von Weisenberg explained that the government needs to partner with the indigenous communities around forest areas to set up agreements on funding tree planting so that the community can assist in the protection of the natural resources while also benefiting from it in a sustainable manner.
These Harambee reports between, I guess, 2021 and 2025, they focus very much on trust building. So when people have trust in the policy, then they can move forward and manage their land in a sustainable way, and then they have and then they can gain revenue. And the revenue is very important. So financial revenue is very important to maintain or to finance the other two pillars I talked about on the environmental and societal side. Without revenue from your land, you cannot fully unlock the potential of sustainable forest management.
Weisenberg stated that the government needs to build the trust of community and farmers in order to help them understand the importance of protecting the indigenous trees and resources such as the baobab tree, welwitschia, timber and charcoal. The Minister of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, Pohamba Shifeta, added that the ministry is strongly pondering on introducing measures that will mandate every individual who harvests crops to plant more trees and care for them.
To cleaning supplies material and the ethanol for sanitizers. It is therefore crucial to promote sustainable forest management in Namibia. Director of Proceedings, one of the vital lessons learned throughout the world today is that sustainable forest management is only possible when local communities are involved, actively involved in this, and also experience tangible benefits from their involvement. I believe that there are many international lessons to be learned in this regard, and I hope that we will share this in this very important gathering. When communities, local communities are involved, then there will be successful management of our forest resources.
Shifeta stressed the need for short courses in order to train people who reside in communities near forests, as well as farmers and traders in the northern communal areas, on the social, economic and agricultural benefits of sustainable forest management. The Sustainable Forest Management Program explained that degradation of forests is due to a lack of trust between government and the indigenous communities, and that the government needs to reach out and implement collaborative efforts to start with reforestation projects.
The U.S. Under-Secretary for Civilian Security, Democracy and Human Rights, Uzra Zeya, will travel to Windhoek on the 21st of July, where she will meet with government officials to advance shared global priorities on climate change, transnational crime and energy, and to discuss joint efforts to strengthen democracy, promote the human rights of all individuals, fight human trafficking, assist refugees, and promote regional security. During her visit, she will also meet with members of civil society as well as Namibia's young political and social leaders to hear their vision for Namibia's future and the United States partnership. She will then visit a refugee camp and Waterberg Plateau Park to see firsthand U.S.-Namibia cooperation to support vulnerable populations and to protect endangered wildlife from illegal trafficking. Zia began her trip in Maputo, Mozambique on the 18th of July, where she met with government officials and members of civil society to discuss opportunities to advance stabilization of violence-affected areas, leveraging new opportunities under the U.S. strategy to prevent conflict and promote stability. She highlighted important work the United States is doing with African and international partners to counter terrorism and trafficking in persons, build the capacity of judicial and law enforcement partners, assist internally displaced persons and people afflicted by violence in northern Mozambique, as well as promote food security, democratic principles, anti-corruption efforts, respect for human rights, and religious freedom.
Time now for Business on One with Joseph Shifeni.
Welcome to this evening's edition of Business on One. The Bank of Namibia governor said the country imported 15 products from neighboring countries valued at $5 billion in 2021 that could be produced locally. Namibia is a net importing country, with China and South Africa maintaining the #1 spots as largest export and import partners respectively.
Bank of Namibia Governor Johannes Gavagab said the country imports products such as maize, sunflower oil, chicken, apples, oranges, soap and organic surface active products, amongst others. Gavagab was talking to stakeholders in the Kavango East and West regions during a public lecture on navigating current economic shocks, where he advised that the country could substitute a significant portion of imports by producing them cost-effectively. Johannes Gavagab said this will have a huge impact, with multiplier benefits such as opportunities for self-employment and small and medium enterprises.
So let's look at the Kavango region. That's probably what you have been waiting for. I think the region has got ample water, you have got ample land, and you have got excellent climate. You get above average rainfall last year. You have got forestry and you have got water. You can become the basket, you can feed this nation. You can become the basis for food security in Namibia. Kavango East and Kavango West can become the source of food security in Namibia because you are endowed with ample water, land, and climate. If you just look at what's happening in 2021, and we look at the import bill of Namibia on 15 products, only on 15 products, not all of them. And we said in 2021, this country has imported goods for those 15 products and paid 5 billion Namibian dollars. Not 5 million, 5 billion Namibian dollars. For maize, we have imported maize and paid 1.2 billion Namibian dollars. Can't we not produce that in Kavango East and Kavango West? 1.2 billion. For sunflower, we have imported goods of 606 million. We've imported fruits and paid 354 million. We paid for apples 83 million last year. For oranges, we paid 38 million. For lemons, we paid 18 million. For pears, 10 million. For frozen chicken, we have imported 302 million Namibian dollars of frozen chicken. For margarine, cheese, margarine 85 million Namibian dollars. So cheese, 250 million Namibian dollars. For yogurt, 72 million Namibian dollars. Fertilizers, close to 550 million Namibian dollars. Washing and cleaning materials, that's for Omo, that's for Surf, and those detergents that we are using, almost 500 million Namibian dollars. For soap, 144 million Namibian dollars. For bags, 146 million Namibian dollars. For toilet paper, $138 million. So we can go on and on. If you only take that 15 products, we are not saying everything, only those 15. We pay 5 billion Namibian dollars. How many jobs can we create? And how self-sufficient can we, if we can produce those competitively in our country?
Gavachab adds that in order for the country's economy to grow, it needs to maintain microeconomic stability, implement reforms to attract investment, and to invest in new engines of growth, such as technology, health, and education.
How can Namibia become more economically successful? We need to understand different countries have got different speeds at which they grow. But it's important that we need to create wealth in our country. We need to maintain macroeconomic stability, including restoring fiscal sustainability, stable prices, and a sound financial system. And everyone has got a role to play. There, the Bank of Namibia's role is make sure we have got stable prices. And I can assure you, we'll make sure that we have got stable prices. People will be very uncomfortable with us, but we'll have to do what we're supposed to do. We need to implement reforms resolutely to attract the needed investment and encourage private sector participation.
The clock has struck for your daily business and financial news update. Brought to you by The Brief.
Impact Oil and Gas is planning to raise up to $1 billion from existing shareholders for further drilling to value the oil field off the coast of Namibia. The Africa-focused exploration company said proceeds from the capital raise, together with existing cash reserves, will be used to fund the upcoming appraisal program in Namibia following the Venus discovery announced in February 2022 and other exploration activities into early 2023. The company said that the expected proceeds of up to $60 million from the open offer, together with existing cash reserves, represent the majority of the company's anticipated funding requirement for the next 12 months. These funds should provide sufficient capital to secure the company's funding requirements for the majority of the appraisal program costs. An appraisal well and a re-entry into Venus 1X is being planned, with a spud expected in the third quarter of this year. The operator plans to conduct float tests on both wells. The joint venture will also continue to progress its exploration activities on Block 2913B and neighboring Block 2912, including the acquisition of a 3D seismic survey. The Venus 1X discovery well was drilled by Total Energies on behalf of the joint venture group, comprising Total Energies 40%, Qatar Energies 30%, Impact 20%, and state-owned Namcor 10%. Northern businessman Johannes Anjamba has dragged King Price Insurance to the High Court and is suing the company for $500,000 Namibian dollars. According to court papers filed by the businessman's lawyer Elis Shilengudwa, King Price has refused to settle an insurance claim after Anjamba's long-haulage truck was involved in an accident in Zambia. Anjamba is now demanding a cash payout or a replacement of the vehicle that was damaged beyond repair. A bone of contention between the two parties emanates from King Price's refusal to honor Anjamba's claim after the businessman cut his accident-damaged Scania G460 truck into pieces to enable him to ferry it back to Namibia, rendering it impossible to assess and determine the damage. King Price Chief Operations Officer Adrian Deval said the company's policies do not allow clients to conduct any replacement or repairs that have not been authorized by way of written approval, and that such failure may lead to the insured's claim being rejected. The Namibian Stock Exchange, NSX, boasts to be the third largest exchange on the African continent after the A2X market, reaching a market capitalization of $1.8 trillion in 2021. Despite the local stock market's impressive continental ranking, the exchange is still marred by low trading volumes, lack of deepening, less liquidity, strict regulations, smaller market size with fewer market participants, low listings, lack of public knowledge of capital markets, and many other host of issues. In the same vein, the Namibian market has 4 registered stockbrokers, which are the go-to brokerage firms if one wants to trade on the NSX. However, the income threshold requirements by stockbrokers is just too high for ordinary Namibian residents to engage in trading and investing. The above-mentioned challenges can thus be solved by launching a tech-enabled democratization of the exchange. Stock market democratization in essence refers to low-commission trading and investing platforms that allow individuals to purchase a whole share and/or fractional share rights.
This was your daily Namibian business and financial news update. For in-depth stories, read more on thebrief.com.na now.
That is all we have for you. Be sure to follow us on our social media pages for more on the business front.
Free shopping is back at Spar, where we're putting smiles on the faces of thousands of Spar Rewards customers when they win their shopping for free. Just shop any participating product, swipe your Spar Rewards card, and go big with 5 Roses tagless tea bags, 100s for just $41.99, and Baker's Eat Some More biscuits for only $20.99. Win your shopping instantly, only at Spar.
Time now for Comments Corner, your daily dose of comments from our social media pages. As Windhoek's population is expected to reach 470,000 this year, City of Windhoek has taken steps to implement large-scale land planning, which aims to create 12,000 urban in informal settlements and 3,000 in formal areas in 4 years. This is according to Commerce Regional Governor Laura McLeod-Kashirua, who said Windhoek's population is expected to double every 21 years. Hilma asked what is so special about Windhoek, a place that has changed and become expensive. Arnold says everything is found in the capital city. Malimba said the country will never overcome the challenge of housing. Ellie says Namibia will not attain Vision 2030, seeing the unaffordable basic needs. While Tobias would rather not say anything on this matter. That is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast only on Today on One. Castro Ulumbu is standing by for this evening's edition of Sport on One.
Welcome to this evening's edition of Sports on One. I'm your host, Castro Ulumbu. Standard Bank Namibia today announced a 1.9 million Namibia dollar sponsorship to the Namibia Secondary Schools Rugby Union, which will be divided to 650,000 over the next 3 years. The sponsorship will cater for the fuel cost, accommodation, as well as medals and trophies for the winning teams. According to Standard Bank Namibia's Managing Director, Mesha Geises, the sponsorship towards the Namibia Secondary Schools Rugby Union is part of the company's purpose to develop the youth.
Our development programs are focused around the youth. We have realigned our entire investment strategy in corporate social investment strategy. It's not a corporate social responsibility strategy anymore. It's more an investment strategy that we have refocused towards the youth. We have started with a very, very successful, very impactful hockey development program, apart from the small sponsorships that we've been doing over the years here and there for the various sports codes. So we are now working with your team on the rugby sports code, and it's also a sports code that is widely accessible. It is not. If you look at the barriers to entry on the sports code is extremely low. But after the children have trained, there's so much more logistics in getting to where they want to be to showcase the talent, and we're quite happy to support. Thank you very much for your leadership, because you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have proper leadership to maximize the potential of what money can actually buy, it is, after all, worth nothing.
In her keynote address, the Minister of Sport, Youth and National Service, Agnes Chongarero, urged the NSSR leadership to account for the funds sponsored, as she applauds the gesture from Standard Bank towards the development of the sport.
Many a times we are given sponsorship and we don't give feedback. We don't account for what was given to us, and that's a very bad thing. Not because they are sitting here, but I just now want to talk to us here. Let's account for each and every cent how we spend. And I'm sure Standard Bank will come back and say, you are a good partner, good people to partner, so we can increase a little bit. Now that we are being given this sponsorship, let's make sure that all senior secondary school kids, kids, yes, are being reached. And all of them, okay, not all of them, I'm talking now in rugby specifically. Not all of them will perform maybe that well, but there are others who are really, really serious and want to become the Velvetias one day.
On behalf of NSSR, the Namibia School Sport Union National Coordinator Solomon Dayker stated that with the support of the corporate world in the country, NSSU will be able to achieve more successes on the sports front as well as discover greater talent. Dayker further explained on how the sponsorship funds will be utilized.
As we know that NSSU is 100% funded by our Namibian government, and because of COVID, a lot of companies failed to adhere to their social responsibilities and corporate well-being. Therefore, NSSU lost out a lot on sponsorships as well as sporting opportunities. And with this new venture that we hope, this new baby which is born today, we will grow this baby together, feed this baby, and look after the well-being of this baby so that we became 30 years from today, that we are still in partnership with Standard Bank. We don't want to give money to school kids. At this point of time, this money goes towards from the quarterfinals to assist schools with transport, accommodation, as well as certificates, trophies, medals, and then medical aid as well, all those type of things. So that is for the first years. So that's why we are saying we are looking over a 3-year period, and then as per the commitment of Standard Bank, we will increment, and then we can look towards that the school who is the winner, that there are some prize like Versekerbeker, where there are prize monies towards schools.
Currently, the Secondary Schools League caters for 35 schools and 112 teams in total. The league is scheduled to start on Saturday the 23rd of July with the final set for September this year. Thank you for watching. Catch us again tomorrow for more updates on Sports on One.
Thanks a lot, Castro. Time now to take a look at the weather forecast.
A look at the weather forecast. The interior will be partly cloudy and warm in the northeast, elsewhere sunny and mild to warm. The coast will be partly cloudy and mild to warm with fog patches in the morning in places. The wind moderate northwesterly to southwesterly. Now a look at the minimum and maximum temperatures around the country and beyond.
That is all we have for you. Don't forget to follow us on our social media pages. From me, Maggie Forciero, and the rest of the team, till next time, it's good night.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
It's not a race. It's an adventure. It's this epic thing that you get to do. You get to run an unbelievable distance in a place that's almost untouched. And we've been able to, in 7 days, travel the entire country and stay at some of the most beautiful lodges. We've had an exquisite rainy season. There's very few people who've seen the country ever in their lifetime the way it is right now. It's mind-blowing. I've been running for about 8 years, ultra. I like to push hard and run far and do things that the average person doesn't do. For many years, I've wanted to do the 7 marathons in 7 days on 7 continents. And when Corona, COVID happened, it became very clear that that was never going to happen for us. Travel, international races, it was all just taken away from us. So suddenly you have these people who are living for running, who are living for traveling, and now there's nothing. Kaletso phones me the one day and says, you know, he thinks maybe we should actually make this work. Him and I have been talking for about 4 years about it and how much we'd love to do this. He says, let's do it in Namibia. Now I need to find people to come along with me because this is not a simple thing to do. You need somebody who's willing to run almost 300 kilometers in 7 days. How do you train for that? And I put on Facebook, and the next thing you know, people are contacting, can they come along? And
I'm Marisa Dreyer. Like I said, I'm from Windhoek and I've always loved running. I initially saw Kirsty's Facebook post and I immediately phoned her and said, please put me on your list, because this is exactly the kind of event which I love.
Well, I've been running for basically as long as I've been alive. I've run basically every continent, I think, except the Americas. This was fun. This is the most fun I've had in all the races that I've ever done.
My name is Joey Shihama, an ultra-marathon runner. I got an email actually from Kirsty. I said, yes, Kirsty, it's a challenge, so I'm up for it.
Ordinarily, when you do a marathon, you're done, and you go home, you rest, and it's lacquer. Now, we have to go home, get our things ready, and tomorrow morning, you got to get up and do it again. Mentally, it's been unbelievably difficult. The terrain obviously changes. So for example, when we were at the Cannon Lodge, you couldn't run very far because the sand was so thick. So then you start negotiating with yourself. So mentally, you have to push yourself, because honestly, your body can do it. You know, if you train like we train, your body can do it. The physical part hasn't been the hardest, but man, your head. I've been blown away just by the support. The staff were suddenly running with us.
It was the most beautiful scenery. It was just magic, you know, running through those deals. You were mostly alone.
I love Kleinhaus Vista. It's so unlike what I'm used to from Swakop. Over mountains, and it's fast, and it's, you know, very challenging, and it's exciting.
My favorite part was getting lost on Pitt's Mountain. That will go down in history.
The Kleinhaus Vista was the most difficult one. I took the wrong route, but also made it to the 49-kilometer mark.
But I like the way how the team came together and we all found each other with no network, but everything worked out well. I think that's the worst case scenario, and we shone through it.
I think the most difficult part is to get up every day and restart the challenge. It's not like you can do it every day in the same headspace. Some days are obviously hard and some days are easier. I think it comes quite naturally if you have a passion for running.
Wherever I was explaining things to people on Facebook and on social media and things, I said, geez, today was tough, eh? But oh, my stack is beautiful. You know, how lucky are we?
My favorite terrain to run is the Namib Desert.
I've been very surprised at how well my body is handled. You know, you kind of run, your body knows what it's doing. It just keeps going, because we're not racing, we're not pushing to our maximum at any stage. I mean, we've been incredible terrain, but we've not been pushing that hard. Support obviously is very special. These messages coming from people talking about what an inspiration it is. And that was never what we were intending to do. We were a couple of runners who wanted to go and do something friggin' awesome. And suddenly people are coming and saying, I've never run, but I'm seeing what you guys are doing, now I want to run. You know, that's what it is.
My favorite part of this experience was the people that kept us going, that kept us supporting us on the road. And my favorite part of the marathon was also in the Swakopmund, where everybody came out to support us, and all the Swakopmund people came out, so...
It was a surprise!
Summerland, we struggled because there'd been a lot of rain and the grass, and the terrain was completely different to when I actually came ahead of the time and did the runs there and worked out the loops. Everything was suddenly different from the rain. So there's grass, you can't see the trails anymore. To do loops is always going to be difficult, especially on day 6 of 7 marathons. So mentally, Summerland, it was very tough for me.
The most difficult part was waking up at 5 a.m. and thinking, okay, I'm going to run another 42. But the minute we started, you know, the scenery just like makes you forget what you did yesterday.
Today was tough because we were on the tar road, but that was unfortunately something we had to do. It was a safety issue, and that's something that it's a non-negotiable. You know, at all times, our #1 priority has been to keep our runners safe. So when it came down to the grass is too high, there's loads of snakes, we could not allow for a dangerous environment for one of our runners, okay? So it was a decision, but when you've been running 6 marathons, on beautiful soft terrain, which is what it is when you off-road and then you hit tar. Man, our knees today, our bodies were... So I think yesterday and today were probably the harder of the lot.
The last part was the most difficult part. I almost gave up at 31 kilometers. And then I thought of not giving up because I know where I started this.
You know, it was even better than I expected or would I have imagined. And yes, we finished today, and it was an absolute highlight of my year this far, actually for the past 2 years.
So it's just been, man, it's just next level. Everything that we've been through over this last 7 days, it's just insane.
It was a wonderful experience, and I would love everybody to join and to come take part of it.
The stories about Gondwana 7, the marathon series, are insane. Risa would run a sub-4 every day. And there's Joey, who managed to do 6 out of 7 marathons with a busted knee. And Kirsty is the wild one. She led the group out into a rocky desert with no water, 20 kilometers off course. You know what? Maybe you should call these guys the Fab Four. They have different strengths, but together they make great music. We're rock stars, man. And we got the stones to prove it.
You know, the distance means nothing, but where we've been and what we've seen, and the laughs that we've had and the friendship and stuff, that's what the last 7 days has been.
For my village, I'm throwing the landscape of my dreams with the creators of the universe in this part of the world that we're living in. Surrounded by mountains, looking for the millions, look for the land that they promised me. Windhoek City, my favorite city, I got it on my back, Timbuktu. Windhoek City, my favorite city, I'm looking for the millions. Windhoek City, my favorite city, I got my back, Timbuktu. Windhoek City, my favorite city, I'm looking for the millions. Windhoek City, my favorite city, I got my back, Timbuktu. They're looking for the talent, but they overlook the talent. The talent on the streets, but they're scared of the streets. What if I beat it like Michael Jackson? What if I run it like Frankie Frederick?